Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Comics Experiment, where I sit down with Andy and Dan and we chat about stuff going on in the world of comics and come up with our own theories and just theory craft and talk about philosophical discussions about, does God exist in Marvel? Andy, does God exist in Marvel?
Yeah, he does actually.
There's many of them, actually.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. And there's like the one above all.
And then the one below all.
Well, yeah, that's Satan.
Yeah. No, but he's not Satan. He's the
Right,
one below
one
all.
below all. Yeah.
I think technically Satan is Mephisto.
He's a
That's
version.
a
Yeah,
Satan.
he's
Let's get confusing
It's
about
like
it.
all vampires are Dracula.
Exactly.
It's a Dracula.
It's a Dracula. And today's episode is brought to you by...
By Henson Shaving, where you can go to hensonshaving.com and use the code COMICS at checkout to get 100 free blades with your purchase. It's also brought to you by
Did you plan that?
Gooder Glasses. I did a little bit. I was prepping it, and it's just what I want to do, because if you were curious about the myth, gingers do have a soul, because this is a ginger's soul sunglasses. This is the name of them.
Oh, okay.
I was practicing that in the car.
So you took the soul of a ginger and placed it into your sunglasses?
Yes, I had to prove
Interesting.
that I could prevent the sun with a ginger's soul. But anyway, if you go to gooder.com/experiment and use code experiment, you can get free shipping on your sunglasses. I love my glasses. I've got multiple pairs, and I'm not giving them either because I need the variations.
I have so many questions.
Okay.
But I'll ask them off the air. So
Perfect.
I got one. Where the hell are my sunglasses?
So Spider-Man.
No, we're not doing Spider-Man first. We're talking about Kang first.
Ah.
Oh.
So Kang.
All right, so if you guys are unaware of what's going on, an actor is being accused of something.
What? Thanks for watching.
Shocking, right?
I guess.
So Jonathan Majors is getting accusations of abuse of some kind. I haven't looked that deep into it, but basically abuse allegations. We don't have any proof that it's happened or hasn't happened. There's just a lot of things going on behind the scenes, which has led to a lot of talk. Basically, at this point, as it stands, the supposed allegations have been withdrawn, but they're still going to trial.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
When I heard that, I was like, wait, if there's no allegations, what are you going to trial over? But I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
So that's apparently where that's at.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Supposedly, because I don't, like I said, we've only looked into the glancing. It's not what we're here to talk about, but just to get everyone up to date. Supposedly, his agency has dropped him based upon these allegations, which supposedly have been withdrawn. And now there's rumors, because trust me, I've seen the videos as well where everyone is telling you that Jonathan Majors has officially been fired. Not true, but there are behind the scenes rumors that Disney is looking at an alternative to Kang. Because they've put
Kong.
Kong. We're doing a Kong movie. King Kong is going to attack the MCU.
It's an alternative to Kang.
Kong the Kankerer.
That's terrible.
So supposedly there was no Phase 5 or 6. It was based upon the performance of Jonathan Majors as the who remains. The one who the who remains, right? He's the Kang variant at the end of the other show, Loki.
He who remains.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
The who
The way
remains.
he said that really
Threw me off too. All right, yeah.
So his performance as He Who Remains at the end of Loki, based upon that performance, they decided to make Kang the big villain.
That's what you want to hear from their plan. We got nothing for Phase 4 or 5. Hey, what's that guy doing?
Supposedly that's
Write that down.
Kevin Feige apparently saw the performance and decided he's the big bad. Which you're 100% right.
That is not what I want to hear. That does not fill me with joy. Jonathan Majors did a great job. Don't get me wrong.
Does not
But
spark joy.
Yeah, but there's if there's no plan. Yeah.
You know what? You know what I
That's a
like to
whole
think
other thing,
happened
I
on
guess.
top of that, though.
Go ahead.
I like to think Kevin Feige didn't even see like the dailies from it. He watched it air on Disney Plus.
He did the DiCaprio.
He was just sitting in his crazy $46 million mansion.
Something like
chair. The mansion costs even more.
And he's just watching this, and he's just like, "Oh, wait, call him back."
Still wearing the
Wait,
hat.
he's in Creed 3 now. Okay, make it Phase
Bathrobe.
5.
That's what I imagine. Feige always wears the hat. He's in the bathtub with like wine. And...
I thought that was just his hair.
Oh, yeah.
Just shaped that way. So anyway, they've planned out Phase 5 and 6, but now there's talks about what are they going to do if whatever he's getting, whatever is going to court, because there's supposedly no allegations, doesn't go the way they want. Do they replace him? Do they replace Kang? Do they replace Jonathan Majors as Kang? And that's what we want to talk about first. What ideas do you have that Disney could go in? Because apparently we're just making up stuff as it happens. So over at Disney.
I have a feeling that we're not going to get a replacement for Kang, because I feel if they chose Kang to be the villain because of Jonathan Majors' performance, not because of Kang, but because of his performance, I think replacing him kind of defeats the entire purpose there.
Sure.
But also, I have a feeling that it's going to be probably more along the lines of what we'll see with Mera in the next Aquaman, where they just severely cut down the role.
But if he's a major villain,
Yeah,
how
that's
would you
the
be
issue.
able to?
But so like,
Yeah,
and then that's what I think they'll do with Kang. As for the actual villain, I think they'll swap it out from Kang. And I know I've said this plenty of times, and I'm going to stand by it. They're going to use Doom. I think that the best way and coolest way they could do would be Doom was in that dome at the end of Quantumania. Sorry, spoilers, but
Why
whatever.
would Doom have been there?
Because he's a descendant of Kang.
That's technically true. Yeah, you're
So,
right. Yeah, okay.
I would love to see him show up and basically be like, simply being like Doom of, I'm disappointed in my ancestors. Kill all of them, and then he basically takes over, and he's like, well, I have all the plans from everything I learned from all of these time travelers. I know that the blood is within me to be a conqueror. I'm going to show him how it's done.
I mean, I could see that actually working exactly like that because it's Kang Dynasty. It's not Kang is your villain. It's Dynasty.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
just
yeah.
be like,
Doom Dynasty.
what's his
It even
son's
works.
name? Marcus?
Who? Kang? Or
Yeah,
Doom?
Kang. Because we just had a whole thing with him in Secret
Yeah, I
Wars.
think it's Marcus. That's one of them. And he takes over as like the Centurion or something.
Yeah,
like
so we
that.
could
Yeah,
just
yeah.
do a Marcus or one of the other kids,
Yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
the Kang Dynasty. Jonathan Majors is just not in the film anymore. You just talk about, oh, my dad died over in Quantumania.
Do a weird like battle of the cow situation. So you got the son, you got the descendants, and they're all fighting for the Kang armor.
Yeah.
And then Doom converts that into
His Doom armor.
the actual Doom armor. Get Fantastic Four.
The only problem I have with Doom getting that involved in the Kang lineage, you're completely retconning Doom. Completely. And
No,
everyone's done that.
there was a comic actually, and this is a comic that I'm basing a lot of this theory on. Is it was basically Doom kept having these visions of like a different future, and every single time Kang would show up, and they would straight up talk to each other and be like, "Wait, what? Like, so what happened?
Yeah.
How did this happen?" Like they had a pretty close relationship with
Okay.
each other,
I'll
and
say,
he's
and
very aware of
Doom
it.
has acted as like a big bad for the Marvel universe before, not just the Fantastic Four, or
Yeah.
Black Panther, or something like that.
So,
yeah.
wait, are you suggesting Doom is already Doom?
I actually was just about to ask that in the plan, because I know Fantastic Four
Look.
is on there. If Fantastic Four is before Kang Dynasty, then I think
Then
it
Doom
works
would be
so much
established.
better
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you could do that, and you can even do it as Reed Richards creates his time traveling thing, and that's how Doom learns about Kang.
right, yeah.
And
I mean, hypothetically, it would work.
So far, the wiki only has Marvel's Captain America: The New World Order, Thunderbolts, and Blade.
and like most
At
of
the rate
those
we're
are,
going with Blade, it ain't coming out.
I was
going
gonna
to
say those are on strike right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
A lot of them
was
are
trying
on
to see
strike.
if there's like development
Between this and COVID, just can't catch a break.
I love the idea of using Doom just because of the fact of it's easy to say he's been in the universe and we haven't involved him because he's got his own country that
Sure,
keeps
yeah,
very
yeah.
private, like
Right, yeah,
news
yeah.
just doesn't get out. He's a villain that you can't kill off because you're killing off a leader of a country.
Right,
There's
yeah.
so many more implications behind that.
Right.
In the comics, I'm pretty sure Doom has had some sort of confrontation with every single hero in existence,
Generally, yeah,
basically.
yeah.
He
Okay.
basically just has a good overall villain. He's basically Thanos of Earth
Yeah.
when it truly comes down to it.
Yeah, I can
and
see it.
and then you can even use him into the incursions.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the people I believe in the Cabal that
I believe so, yeah,
decides
yeah.
which universes get destroyed. So it works with all the other plans that they have
then he takes
already
over
kind
as
of talked
God
about.
Doom.
Exactly.
off of the, and this is obviously changed now because of the writer's strike and them
Yeah.
pulling certain things.
Obviously.
But apparently none of the Avengers movies were in Phase 5. I thought one of them was going to be in it, but no, it ends with Thunderbolts. So it goes
okay.
Captain America, and then it goes Thunderbolts, and then it goes Fantastic Four, and then Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. That's the only ones they had announced at the time.
So it kind of works
very
perfectly.
easily.
Yeah.
At this point, change it.
yeah.
Based on that, it sounds more like Phase 5 is the Phase 1 Part 2.
Yeah.
Here's our heroes again. Let's
Yeah,
establish
you
who
gotta-
are the
yeah.
main characters. And then we'll go and bring a new team in and say they're the main characters.
So we're suggesting is basically based upon what the original slate of movies was. You need to bear in mind things could change because of writer's strike, and Marvel's been changing things even before that, like Agatha getting dropped and deciding when they're going to put it out.
Agatha House of Harkness, I still stand by, was the worst decision. The announcing
it's
that
filmed.
show, that just sounds ridiculous to me. That sounds like on par as like the Morbius people hearing how many people were memeing up Morbius and going, let's re-release it.
Yeah.
And then learning why that was a bad idea.
I mean, if you look at a lot of Phase 4, a lot of it just was, that sounds like a fun idea, and they didn't worry about how it linked together, made sense, or anything, or even what it would do.
good.
Or if it was good, or
it was the filler phase.
or
it
if
really
it would,
was, yeah.
if it would do damage to the overall brand.
Right.
Like, I'm not against She-Hulk, but She-Hulk did damage to the brand because it just wasn't an MCU level project.
Yeah.
I've even said now, I'm like, it feels like a C-level sitcom. Wasn't terrible, but I didn't rush to go watch it every week.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem with a lot of these projects from Phase 4. They did damage to the brand because even the worst movies before were still considered good movies, you know, and now
I don't think it's necessarily the quality that damaged it as well. I think it was the allowing the viewers to think everything mattered.
Yeah.
And that is what caused everyone to watch everything, which made them realize, okay, first off, not all of this matters.
and it's not all made for the same demographic.
Exactly. Like the Marvel movies, I would say, if you enjoyed one, most likely you would enjoy all the others to some
At
extent.
least to extent, yeah.
Whereas
you might
those
not be huge on the
shows-
characters, but it's
Exactly.
still big, flashy CGI fights.
Yeah, exactly. But with like She-Hulk, if you like She-Hulk and you were like, all right, now go watch Moon Knight, it's not the same
Right.
for anyone in
Yeah.
any regards there. So
But yeah, the way that's lined up, Doctor Doom could easily just get swapped into the Kang role. We don't have to worry about recasting Jonathan Majors because one, he's. I saw an article that said that the end credit scene to Quantumania showing all those Jonathan Majors was a problem because now they're like, well, every variation's a Jonathan Majors.
Has to at least look something like Jonathan Majors.
But on the flip side, Loki already established
I was
you
gonna
don't
say-
gotta look like your variant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
because Loki already proved that
Sylvie.
you can have some you can have some that are completely different, some that are slightly changed. I'm still surprised they didn't have like an alligator Kang in the background.
That would have been funny.
That would have been so good. It
And
turns
then we
out
got to
that's
go to that alligator universe
exactly.
at some
That'd be
point.
so good.
But honestly, I kind of want them to get rid of Kang at this point, even if Jonathan Majors is cleared and we're all good to go. And the reason is, he's not a threat.
No.
He got killed in Ant-Man. And he got killed in Loki. Like, it's not like he's a threat.
Yeah.
It's not like a Thanos level threat where they just keep
That was a poor idea.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote that. Honestly, I have no idea.
because what are we supposed to be afraid of? That there's a dozen different Kangs?
I was going to say, but supposedly the strongest Kang, who all the other Kangs had to get rid of, who they trapped in the Quantumanium, who then established a giant empire, was taken out by some super smart ants
I'd say he's not a
that
threat.
didn't even have superpowers. They were just really smart ants. They weren't even strong. They were just really smart ants.
They had like tanks, kind of.
I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, they were smart
Yeah,
ants. So
exactly. The
so they
military
had some
ants.
guns. I guess.
Ant guns.
Ant gets out with a Tommy gun. Yeah, that was. I feel like that was a poor choice.
That one,
for
I-
the supposed strongest,
Right.
most dangerous Kang.
Because when He Who Remains got killed at the end of the universe,
he was kind of a pacifist in the beginning.
yeah, that was
in
the whole
beginning,
point.
So I get that.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. But why are we afraid of Kang now?
It should have.
Ant-Man
Just
and
get a
Wasp.
bunch of ants.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Could you see that? That's Kang Dynasty. It just turns into like the new, Sam Wilson, Captain America's got the whole new Avengers together. Everyone's good to go.
Ant-Man shows
and he's
up.
like, I've got the ultimate. Yeah, Ant-Man comes riding in on enlarged ants,
Yep.
and they just tackle Kang.
It's okay, guys. I took care of it. Don't even worry about it.
How are we going to have another Avengers movie after this? The Secret War is nothing. We beat him. I threw ants at
To
him.
really establish that, I know this isn't an Ant-Man podcast, but to really establish
now.
Kang as an actual threat, Ant-Man had to die in that movie. Or at least
Supposedly-
be trapped in the Quantumania.
That was the original ending, supposedly.
Yeah,
but
I know. I've
apparently,
seen that, yeah.
But apparently it was such a downer.
Wait,
But that's
who?
the thing.
What was? Hold on, wait. What's this? What was the original ending?
Ant-Man and Wasp are going to be stuck in the quantum realm so he can get out.
So the Kang could get out.
Yeah.
Right, to establish, because that would have made it, to establish Kang as an actual threat, that's what needed to happen. Kang needed to win that movie.
See, honestly, he did need to win the movie or be tricked to go through a different portal.
Something like that.
Something where he does not die but is still stronger. But I would believe Scott Lang tricking Kang before beating Kang.
Yeah,
Right. And that would have made sense too. Yeah.
Like it
Or
would
even
have
the
been,
super smart ants, because they're super smart. For ants. Which I don't know what that means for
Well,
anybody
actually,
else.
no. Let's be honest. Even compared to like Scott, they're pretty darn smart.
That's true. Scott not so smart.
Do you think the ant that was playing the drums is a part of the super smart ants?
He's
ant
he's
was
actually
playing
the
the drums?
black
In the
sheep
Second
of the
movie.
family.
Remember when he was at the house? He was stuck there.
Oh,
One of the
yeah,
playing
yeah,
the drums.
okay.
He's actually not going to be
Anthony-
like his
I
dad.
like to assume that was Anthony.
No, Anthony dies in the first one.
I like to assume that was
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Anthony.
Anthony.
That was Antoine.
Anthony went to the ant farm.
Yeah, he ran away. With that bullet.
But yeah, that's my problem with Kang in general. Like, honestly, I feel like we're at a point where it's like, you know what? Because this is what's irritating me. And this is why I'm not against them swapping out Kang. We swapped from Thanos, and I almost feel like Kevin Feige and Marvel are sitting around, and they're like, we went too big, too quick. We went from creation of the Avengers to Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. So we don't want to blow our load with X-Men or Doctor Doom, or I worded that right.
Some CEO's like, Kevin, can you stop saying that? You keep, every meeting, you say that exact. I don't like it. HR has talked to you about this. You were in the video.
But I think that's what they're trying to do. Like we
Security
could
camera.
have easily come out of Endgame, and they could have ended it with a
No
hype.
pun intended.
Like, okay, so let's assume at the time Endgame ended, they didn't have X-Men, they didn't have the Fantastic Four.
Which they didn't.
Right. So what I'm saying is, but we could have easily gone into the next big bad. Maybe implied Death herself is showing up or something along those lines.
yeah.
Like there have been enough. You could have implied at that point that the incursions were going to be a big thing, and that the evil version, the next big evil thing, could have been the evil Avengers. Like there's things that people would have been hyped for.
Okay.
Even if you wanted to end Endgame on 10 years is done, here's the hammer hitting, and then Spider-Man could have implied the next big bad.
Right.
We needed to go to something, but because of the fact that Phase 4 was all about no big bad, because even at Avengers.
Well, but I mean, that was a combination of things. That was a combination of COVID and
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is,
and then
like,
supposedly that we're taking a break.
Quick question. Multiverse of Madness. Phase 4, Phase 5?
It was technically 4.
Technically 4? Okay, because that relates to my idea
that was
of
like the
jumping
tail.
through this portal.
Oh, nice.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Henson Shaving. Are you tired of subscription razors or getting nicks and cuts from cheap razors? Well, that's why you gotta meet Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that is bringing their precision engineering to your shaving experience. Henson Shaving makes affordable razors with a standard dual-edged blade to give you that old-fashioned shave, with the benefits of a new school tech. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. Henson razors have a great design with incredible durability, and they give you a super nice clean shave. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/comics to pick up the razor for you. And use the code COMICS and you'll also get 2 years worth of blades for free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/comics and use the code COMICS. Today's podcast is sponsored by Gooder Sunglasses. The sun is starting to come out, and so it's time to protect your eyes and look stylish with Gooder Sunglasses. Gooder Sunglasses are incredibly lightweight, comfortable, and 100% polarized, which for $25 is a crazy good deal. Gooder also has a ton of styles and colors to choose from, so you can find the perfect pair for you. Gooder sunglasses are insanely good quality for only $25 a pair, and they come with a 1-year warranty and 30-day free return period, and satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. I love my Gooder glasses and use them every time I go outside. They're amazing, and for only $25, they make a great gift that anyone would love. If you want to support our show and pick up a pair, Gooder is giving Comics Experiment listeners free shipping on their first order. And you can go to gooder.com/experiment and use the code EXPERIMENT to get free shipping. That's GOODR.com/experiment and use the code EXPERIMENT to get free shipping.
And then we close the portal with Multiverse of Madness, because yes, I had a good idea with that one. What they
Well, that was at the tail end of Phase 4, though.
Exactly.
They were like, oh
Which-
shit, what if we start doing multiverse stuff?
which, to be perfectly honest, would have been perfect. Now imagine this: we finish. First off, we bring back post-credit scenes that matter. That's a key part
I've
to
been
my
saying that for a
entire
while.
plan. Multiverse of Madness
Are you trying to
happens.
say Howard the Duck showing up in every MCU movie is not a good idea? 'Cause that would be awesome.
Because
Multiverse-
Guardians ended on a high note, but it didn't matter. We all know we're not seeing that new Guardians team in another movie.
You
know
never
that.
know. You never know. They're in space. Anyway, so we get the post-credit scene of that. They should have had just a mysterious voice or something comment on the fact that the Illuminati had died. You now have mysterious voices, and throughout the next phase, you basically do, Hassan's going to love this, the Young Justice thing with the light, how they were like just a bunch of screens and blacked out
You
images.
establish there is some sort of secret,
Exactly.
shadowy thing
Behind
happening.
every single movie, there's one person in the cabal that relates to Secret Wars, or like the incursions and stuff. But don't give it away. Just make it slightly related to the characters in that movie. And then when you do that, you provoke your audience into theorizing, which is why everyone loved all the original ones, because discussions and be able to go, well, what if it was this person? Like, I mean,
What if this happened next?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like building up multiple threats. Like at first doing, okay, clearly, oh, it's a deep voice. Wait, this is a different voice. Okay, this is a group of people. Who is this? And then eventually the cabal, you can just grow towards that, do the incursions and stuff around that. And that is the big bad that I think would have worked the best. Because in a way, that would be the equivalent of working towards Thanos and going into each of the different Infinity Stones.
Right, yeah.
I have a good idea. It's similar to that, building up to the next
But
villain.
better.
But better.
It turns out it was Deadpool
Instead
the whole
of-
time with a voice changer
Okay.
in every movie.
Now that actually
That
would be
would
better.
have been good. Yeah, would be better.
That would be amazing.
But what I'm saying, instead of waiting for Multiverse of Madness, which was three years out, we could have done something sooner with the Spider-Man or whatever. And what I think it should have been, because I was trying to think of a big bad that could go to a level bigger than Thanos, but what didn't involve X-Men or Fantastic Four.
Mephisto. It was Mephisto all the time.
Mephisto could have easily been the next
Yeah,
one.
that
but
was a miss.
What I was thinking was Annihilation.
Sure. Yeah.
What if Annihilus showed up and was like,
The
Thanos is out of the
Annihilation
way?
Wave.
And so the Annihilation Wave is
Yeah.
now coming.
Hold my bug army. What?
It would have
Why
built
is
up to
everyone
something.
giggling?
it would have built up to something. That was my point.
And then Scott would be like,
Yeah.
behold, super smart ants.
And then when they closed out on X-Men and Fantastic Four, they could have been like, okay, and now the Annihilation Wave is killed off in Phase 4 because we're going right to X-Men. Like, I feel like they're just trying to hold back. I don't want to say blow
then
their
they're
load
like,
again.
behold, asteroid M.
But see, frankly, that's why
What if
I
Annihilation
think
Wave was killed by Asteroid M coming down? Did you guys see that?
No. The Annihilation Wave was stepped on by Galactus.
love it.
That's what I mean. Like,
breathed in.
because we haven't hyped at nothing, and what we're leaning to is Kang Dynasty, which we may have to get rid of. So now we're gonna scramble to probably Doctor Doom or replace the actor.
Honestly, that's why I think doing the cabal or like that mystery behind would have worked best, because you don't have to commit.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
could have
you
been
can
like,
use
oh, there's
the-
maybe this was the original plan, but that's not
Exactly.
we're going to do a different.
Maybe,
villain.
or
Yeah.
maybe it's like this is just known villains that are discussing with each other, and then they decide, oh, they want this. Okay, that villain broke off from the group. It's Legion of Doom stuff. How many times
Yeah.
do we have
Yeah.
that when all of a sudden one of them decides, okay, I'm just gonna screw
Or
those
it turns
guys?
out that was a fake team that was also being
Exactly.
controlled by the
Yeah.
shadowy cabal people.
Like, I just think that would have been so much better to get people thinking, talking, really discussing, as opposed to, hey, did you see the new movie? Yeah, it wasn't that great, wasn't it? Cool, I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
I agree with Andy. The problem we have right now is that they're all talking about, like, I don't know why this even got out, like why Kevin Feige said this in an interview, but oh man, we saw Jonathan Majors said that's our next villain, and I'm like, but he was in a show. You already
so
made.
You didn't have any
Uh,
sort of plan before that.
it
That
wasn't-
doesn't. Yeah.
The weird thing about that as well is I believe he had actually seen Ant-Man Quantumania. I believe I've read the article of him talking about that, and he, at least in the versions of the article I've seen, which who knows how much they embellish, they said from Loki and Quantumania was the two times that they saw his performance and were like, okay, because I think they saw the different versions.
I mean, he did a really
which
good
makes
job.
sense.
Jonathan Majors is a good actor.
Yeah.
And I'd love to
There's
see
no
the
argument
Kang
about
thing
that.
actually
Yeah,
pan out.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I think we
that
should
this
clarify
is all
that. I would
happening.
love to see Kang Dynasty get to Kang and Kang doing things. But I do feel like at this point, by having him being beaten by Ant-Man, the threat of him is kind of...
That was a misstep, in my opinion.
Like, I don't think that has anything to do with his portrayal of Kang. That's the MCU
Personally,
being
I
like...
feel Ant-Man Quantumanium was an entire misstep.
Supposedly, it went through like 14 rewrites.
Yeah, I
to get
have
to the
seen
end
that.
of,
Yeah, I guess the actual writer leaked his original
The rumor
script.
has is that he come out and said it wasn't him.
Yeah,
But supposedly.
Which, I mean, when it
knows?
truly comes down to it, I don't think it was him. Why? Where is any benefit of leaking your own
it's true.
script
Yeah.
to a movie that you are banking on to try and keep
Yeah,
a job? Like,
that is true,
there's
yeah.
nothing that makes sense in
Yeah.
that.
So it's just interesting. I don't know what they're really going to do if they have to replace Jonathan Majors. I'd rather us go through and they somehow make him come across as a threat.
I mean, replacing Jonathan Majors would be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to rework if they have an actual plan at this point. No, I'm not so sure anymore.
I don't remember who brought it up in our discussion the other day, but I think a fun idea would be to just declare the High Evolutionary is a Kang variant and just use that actor moving forward.
Okay.
He did a really good job.
That was fantastic.
He
That's
was
a good
really
idea. I know they say in the movie that Kang the Conqueror is like the most villainous and stuff
that's
like
why
that.
They had to lock him away.
Exactly. If they wanted to redeem it in a way that I think would work, would be simply when they locked him away, the actual Kang the Conqueror basically tricks them. Tricked them into locking away a different Kang, and then you can literally just start the next one with him showing up to all of them meeting together and going, "All right, finally have you all here." Kills them all, and now you
Man,
have
that'd have been a
truly
fun post-credit
Kang the
scene that they could have done.
But like, honestly, it would have. Imagine if they did that dome and then it zoomed out and just like
And the
someone
actual
sitting
most
back
evil,
there
like,
was just
turns out he was tricking them the whole. That would have been solid.
because
There's
that
a number
would
of
fit.
things they could have done to redeem it, and they chose not to because it was too
Well,
much of a
to be-
downer ending.
To be fair, though, we also don't know. They could in a different movie be like, "Oh yeah, that's what we were planning the whole time. That wasn't the real one."
Right.
This evil one's the evil one.
And that one shows up in Miss Marvel season 2 at the high school.
It's the principal.
He is the principal.
Principal Kang.
Hello, children. I am Principal Kang.
But you know
Kang the
what this reminded me of
principal.
MCU not planning things out? They introduced the entire Young Avengers, and then they came out and they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing nothing with that." Why did you introduce the entire Young
They
Avengers?
introduced them as side characters in shows.
But that would have been perfect.
But not even like they were heroes in the show. It was just like that kid's got the same name.
Like the fact that they had a plan,
you
like the amount of
know.
things that were being set up, and we were all kind of like, "Oh man, what are they planning for this? What are they planning for this?" Only to be like, "Man, you know, Jonathan Majors did really good in Quantumania. We should make that our plan."
I think this also kind of goes to show there's such a thing as planning too far in advance.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Obviously, any plan's going to adjust
Exactly.
if something's more popular.
That's why I said when I was reading up the thing, this is what it was. I don't even think it's that anymore.
No.
So,
Definitely.
all right, so we want to move on to a second topic, just something real quick. Miles Morales gameplay was revealed.
It was. Well, Spider-Man 2, because
Yeah.
it was Miles Morales and Peter Parker.
So we're taking, if you don't know the original story of Spider-Man with the
voice
symbiote
actor.
suit, Spider-Man gets the symbiote suit. At the time of its creation, it wasn't Venom.
No.
It was just
it was an alien suit.
alien suit. The alien suit was making Spider-Man to be more violent and starting to drain him, and it was starting to like get in the way of his life. And he went to the bell tower where the bells rang, and he ripped off the suit. I don't even think Eddie Brock got the suit then, right? Wasn't that retconned in?
Well, I mean, yeah. In the actual, when he rips off the suit, you don't see Eddie Brock.
Right,
at the
and that's
bottom.
it. I think they retconned Eddie
Yeah,
as
and then they
being
were
there.
like,
They
"Oh, we're
retconned him
gonna-"
to being in a church nearby, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
and then
symbiote like
Sid
goes
fell,
in.
Yeah, he was just like he
was
Peter's
like,
in the bell
"Dear
tower.
God, help me kill Peter Parker."
Oh, thank you.
Does that's how God works, right?
Yeah.
Give me the strength to smite my enemies.
Send me a suit. So they're obviously going to change the stories they did in the past, and I just wanted to ask you guys theories. How do you think that this is going to be Peter and Miles? How is Miles going to relate to that story? And are we going to get the cliffhanger of Eddie at the? It'll probably just do the whole game and not have one mention.
Well, because at the end of the original Spider-Man PS5, What's it actually called? I think it's technically called Sony's Spider-Man, isn't it?
Just Spider-Man.
No, I think it's just. I think it's
Is it-
Marvel Spider-Man.
Okay.
I think it's Marvel's.
It seems like they established that
Harry.
Harry has the symbiote. So I assume Harry's going to have to do something in there.
Okay.
Maybe he'll take the place of Eddie Brock. Somehow it gets out.
I almost feel like I agree. Like I agree with that to an extent because they're dragging out the lore as far as they can because they want as many games as they can get.
Well, yeah. And they've also
Obviously.
changed a lot of things.
Yes. But I'm just saying, like, they could make Eddie Spider-Man 3. Or
Yeah.
at the end of Spider-Man 2, symbiote goes on to Eddie, Venom spinoff, because Sony owns the rights to the movie
Yeah, you
series.
can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would honestly not be surprised if you lose the symbiote halfway to 3/4 of the way through.
maybe everything they're showing us is, like, really early.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Symbiote goes to Eddie Brock.
And now
Venom
he's
is the final battle that you're against. And if Harry did have it, you could actually use that to kind of weave in the Green Goblin. He tried to use the symbiote, couldn't control it, so he tried to create a serum to basically sedate the symbiote, but that turns him into Green Goblin instead.
Well, because in the first game, they do establish that there is Green Goblin tech that Osborn is building.
Well, I
like
mean-
the gliders and stuff like that.
yeah, because I was going to say the
So,
Green
yeah.
Goblin tech is technically just
So it could
Oscorp
be, yeah.
tech.
So it could be that he's trying to, because it looks like at the end of the first game, it looks like whatever sickness Harry has. I don't remember if they have specified.
Right,
what
because
it is.
they imply
They
it throughout the
establish he's
course of the
sick.
game. He's
Yes.
sick and he didn't go to Europe.
and
he's in a tank.
Norman is trying to. So I assume that's what. Maybe he found an alien, or maybe they go to the Ultimate Universe and it's something they actually created and it's not an alien at all.
I mean, they could. I mean, the original game had 3 plots going at the same time
yeah,
because there was Mr. Negative and Doc Ock.
yeah,
And Doc Ock did the raft breakout.
yeah. And then Harry's.
And
Harry
Harry's
and Norman was like a side plot.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
what if-
implying,
So we could
yeah.
just kind of start running them all concurrently.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
be interesting if they're already working on like trying to cure him, if that's the direction for the Green Goblin serum and the symbiote's a failed experiment that just got out.
Yeah, because if they go the Ultimate Universe route, the symbiote was something it was created
Yeah.
to try to fight cancer cells, and then I guess it gains sentience,
Yeah,
something
along
like
those
that.
lines.
Yeah, something like that. It's
Because
been a
it
minute
mixed
since
with
I've
the
read those.
bloodstream of
Yeah,
somebody. I think
it's been a
Spider-Man's
minute
blood.
since I've read it. So.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, don't quote us on that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a
So
long
it's
time.
possible they
Definitely
could
not
go.
me.
It's not an alien at all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They don't do any of that.
But yeah,
And then Harry could just take the spot of Eddie Brock.
I just feel like eventually Sony's going to want us to get to Eddie because they have a whole movie franchise tied to that.
I
Like,
think it's got to end with him. Craven's a great villain, but I
Yes.
don't think that's a full game villain.
Well, that's the thing. I feel
Like-
I feel like Craven's gonna be, because like the first game had Mr. Negative and then it
Yeah.
had Dr. Octopus, who turned out to be the actual main villain. But then you also had Vulture and Shocker and
Yeah.
Rhino and So I feel like Craven's gonna be that. It's gonna be a side thing. Silver Sable, they were like, look, Silver Sable's in the game. Okay, she's not in the game that much, but then she's in the DLC.
Right.
I
so it
mean,
could be along those
what if
lines.
this is all a misdirection and the big villain's actually going to be Green Goblin this time?
It's Kang the whole time.
Dude, that would be funny. Kang pops up.
Yep,
It was
Kang.
me, Peter.
Honestly,
Is
I
that
think
your Kang?
That's my
I
Kang.
don't like that.
This is Kang.
What?
Fear me, Avengers.
Why is everyone giggling?
I
I am
think
the monarch.
it would definitely end. It's gonna end with either you fight against Green Goblin and the symbiote
I think
goes
Green
to
Goblin's
Eddie
gonna be in
Brock,
it. I do.
or you fight against Venom and then you'll get Green Goblin hint at the end.
I
for the
feel like
next one.
Green Goblin's going to be, because they hinted at it so much in the
Did
first
they?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
So do we think that Miles is going to be the one to kind of make Peter realize the direction he's
Yeah, I
going?
think that's
Yes.
going to be. I feel at some point as Miles, you will be fighting
You'll have a fight
symbiote
of
Peter.
yeah, Peter
It'd
taking
be-
over.
It'd
hulking-
be a waste not.
I
To
was gonna
have
say
Miles
yeah.
fight Peter?
yeah.
Especially-
You know, it'll be
'cause
really
lightning.
dark and twisted, though. What if you get to pick who you are on that fight?
I mean,
He's just Venom beating the shit out of Miles. Quick time event. Ah!
You're making me do this!
But your movie was really good, and your comic book series has been pretty solid.
There
Sorry
can
about
only be
that.
one!
It's weird that was the dialogue.
oh my god.
In the game, you get to decide who's going to be Spider-Man.
Because when you're done, that is the only
That is the
Spider-Man.
only one left.
I
you
mean-
either kill off Peter, you kill off Miles.
I
That
want
would
them
be
to
a
also
great
bring in-
That would be
Like,
What
a
if you
true
do kill off
choose
one of
your
them and you
own.
choose, and then Gwen shows up from the other universe?
All right, now we're going too much.
No,
No,
fuck.
no, no.
We've already brought in
No,
so
no,
much.
No, you're doing it you're Benny-ing this up way too hard. Which somehow is farther than Danny.
I'm just gonna say, I'm expecting Spider-Gwen.
There's levels.
I am
me,
expecting
you, Ben.
I am expecting some new spider person to be introduced into this. Probably not playable or any of that stuff, but just to keep expanding on their world.
I don't think so. Because, I mean, outside of the multiverse, what other spider people are there?
Totems. We would not do totems.
Well-
If you do totems, you're
Well,
going
If
to
they
totems
brought in,
are-
if they
are
brought in other
multiverse.
people,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
would
the
get
only
like
other-
Spider Woman.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
Silk.
Yeah, you could do Silk. I could see Silk.
But they could easily just retcon things into
I don't think
Insomniac.
I don't think they're gonna do multiverse. It'd be so weird if Peter
no,
was
I'm not
like,
saying- I'm not saying
if
they would do
Peter was
multiverse.
like, also, this is Gwen Stacy, who I used to go to school. My God, she has spider powers too.
Well, what I'm saying
So
is
she's alive again?
I don't
Also,
believe-
who's that chick dressed in webs only? I really want to bang her. Then it goes into a God of War style minigame.
what I'm saying is instead of it being multiverse, because technically Miles' origin is multiverse.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm saying
It'd be
retcon
really-
a new person in.
You could retcon Miles into the main universe. That makes sense.
They
But
did,
to
yeah.
constantly bring in the other multiverse
Well,
ones.
I will
would be
say-
weird.
Silk or Gwen.
I'm going to ignore
Did
the
they-
multiverse part, but
Yeah,
other
yeah.
spider people, I wouldn't be surprised that they hint at
Yeah.
in some way because Craven, like they show it in the thing where they do a layout of the city and it pops up Spider-Man's face, Miles's face, shows Black Cat, and it shows some other people. You could easily do one of the like small ones in the background. Oh, Silk's back here. Like turns out Jessica Drew's over here.
Did they even mention Gwen in the original game?
No.
So I'm saying they could just introduce his new schoolmate, Gwen, who also got bit by a spider. And it's just,
I mean, how much you gonna run into that? Really running that origin story into the ground is all I'm saying. My God, there's so many.
there was
people that
actually
have
a
been
vial of like 8 spiders.
It's
They
just,
just-
the whole city is
I'm going to say
covered in spiders.
if they do Gwen Stacy, if they want, if
I could see them introducing Gwen Stacy,
they would do
not
it.
Spider-Gwen.
If they do Spider Gwen, they'll do the version from that miniseries of hers where it was like a timed power that she needed the suit and like some sort
Or
of
they do like a
power up.
symbiote.
They do like a spider.
Actually,
island.
yeah,
that is true.
now that I
Yeah,
think
that-
about it,
became a symbiote.
that could work.
the symbiote splits off at some point. Part of it goes to Gwen Stacy.
No,
part of
I
it
got it.
goes
They're
to-
gonna introduce what's the new sidekick's name?
Oh, Spider-Boy?
Yeah, they're gonna introduce Spider-Boy.
I've been here all the time.
They don't address it. Like
He just-
Miles and Peter are fighting, and then Spider-Boy shows up. I'm here to help, guys.
Oh,
School let
Spider-Boy,
out
get
early.
Vulture over there.
Oh, good. Our sidekick.
I'm gonna laugh if Gwen is introduced, and then even as a stinger at the end of it, which is what they did for Miles in the original.
Sure,
where
yeah,
he discovered he had the powers.
Yeah.
The stinger at the ending is Gwen just being like, "Oh, the symbiote's coming over." or
See
something.
that could at least work, but having another person be bit by a spider just doesn't
Actually,
make any sense.
You know, I didn't even think of that. What if, like, the second half of the game, the symbiote basically
Jumps
gives
on different
birth
people.
to Carnage?
Oh, it becomes
Scream.
Maximum Carnage.
It's like we get all the different symbiotes because then the second half of the game you get the classic. All right, you go to this one to fight this symbiote, this one to fight this symbiote. You got to beat them all so that it combines, and that would be
Captain
cool.
Planet.
Mary
Yeah.
Jane gets the symbiote. She becomes Spider Jane.
All right, I'm down. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's comics experiment. My name's Benny. That is Andy, and that is Dan. And you can find us here on every other week doing a video on the Absolutely channel. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe, and check out our sponsors to keep this show going. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.